the minutes of our prior meeting electronically. What are your wishes? Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Jeff?
Not a whole heck of a lot going on this week. The guys went out Saturday and Sunday plowing ice. Did a pretty good job there. No significant issues. The Weirda Bridge should be open before maybe the end of this week, before Christmas, but might not have guardrail. They're doing dirt work on it now.
So can they legally open it without a guardrail?
We'll have to put up some barricades and stuff like that.
Okay,
They are driving up on, the contractors are driving on it, so
okay,
hopefully dirt work and rock gets all done this before
yeah,
New Year's or maybe by the end of this week.
sure.
Outside of that, we requested quotes for 2 new pup trailers. I will be bringing, got, I believe, 2 bids on that. I'll be bringing those to you guys next week.
Okay.
For action.
So is next week the week we're gonna be meeting over at Law Enforcement Center?
Yeah, I can get that scheduled.
Okay, so just pay attention on your agenda. We might meet across the way so we can see that meeting space.
Okay,
So.
good to know.
Mhm.
And then Travis Messenbricks, 5 years with Grundy County.
Awesome.
So,
And you have that in
Yep.
front of you and you can make the big presentation. Usually we do a photo op out in the lobby in front of the flag and
and
have
that's
to,
all I have for.
all right, have to
update on
find,
our-
thank you for your
Thank you very
service.
much.
Appreciate it. And I think, I don't know who's gonna take the picture, if Jesse
Yeah,
will.
I'll go grab Jesse.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
Wrong brother.
Travis. Wrong brother.
Not on the way out.
Okay, payment of bills. We received those electronically. Any questions on any of the bills? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried. The next is resolution number 21-2024/25. That was something that was generated by the landfill commission meeting that I attended. Hardin County is adopting a new comprehensive plan, and part of that plan deals with the rural Iowa landfill. And so all of the signatories or the users of the rural Iowa landfill have to adopt this resolution. It is identical to the resolution that was adopted prior. It's just the same verbiage and everything. So if someone would be willing to introduce that resolution, it was distributed. Thank you, Lucas. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
So, you, just what other entities need to approve this?
Any of the counties whose citizenry takes refuse to the rural Iowa landfill. So if somebody in, well, it is already Hardin County. I assume just the 2 counties because I think Holland takes things there, Wellsford takes things there. All of Grundy Center can take things there, except just recycling for Grundy Center. Conrad, I think, takes things there probably is Beam. Yeah, so they're all in Grundy County, so they're all covered by this resolution. And then I assume Hardin County adopts it, and all the municipalities in Hardin County that use that landfill have to, I mean, they're already covered if Hardin County supervisors put this forward and it's signed, so. Anyway, was there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? Alan, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mark,
Yes.
Lucas.
Yes.
Heidi
Yes.
and Barb.
Yes. So do you want, this still says, Chair of Grundy County Landfill Commission on it. Do you wanna how do you want to handle that?
Do me, put as chairman of the board or chairperson, or how would you like that?
Well, I can,
Create your own mind.
all right. Greg Melcher signed it last time, and I said, well, I really think that protocol dictates that any official document of this nature that, you know, is signed for Grundy County needs to go past the Board of Supervisors, so that's why we changed that. Okay, and then it goes to HLW Engineering ultimately. All right, Treasurer's monthly investment report. Have that distributed. I think we need to acknowledge receipt of that.
So moved.
Is there a second? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Fine.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And then people that are on Cobra we're supposed to be getting their funds for the Cobra to IGHCP electronically via ACH.
What's EBS changed how they wanted to collect those funds from us. In the past, we were making the checks payable, had them make checks payable to EBS,
Okay,
and we were mailing them to them.
sure,
Well, now they want to ACH us just like they do the employee premiums.
okay,
So what we did is had to create a revenue line to take those funds in, an expense line where to put them, but then we have to do that kind of like a warrant to put the money into the bank account so they can draft those funds.
so that's kind of a hassle.
Yeah, as Rhonda said, it was problematic, and we tried to push it back, but did it. It's a non-budgetary item, so it was easy to create it. But
Okay,
just
and,
kind of a new process.
and so,
And we're working on a resolution to do this going forward, so we don't have to do this every month.
oh, okay,
That's what my question.
Yes.
yeah,
That's what
so
Eric
how
was-
many
Eric was
people do we
working on.
have that are on Cobra?
Right now, I thought we had 2, but I think we're gonna have 3 starting in January.
Okay, huh, all right. So
So
we
it was
had,
on the bills, I think. You could see it on.
Yeah. yeah, definitely, okay. Do we have a motion and a second for that? Can we have one? Or did we have one? I lost track.
Well, it was in the bills, right?
Right, but there is,
Since it's kind of
it
a,
says, it's called out as a separate line item,
All right,
so,
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Let's do it
all right,
this way.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further questions or discussions? All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried. Approve revised tax increment financing indebtedness certification to the county auditor and specific dollar request for available TIF increment tax for next fiscal year certification to the county auditor for Snitcher South Urban Renewal Area and Mid-Iowa Cooperative Urban Renewal Area, and authorize the chairperson to sign the same. Maybe you could explain, is that because the assessed valuations
yeah,
changed
they
and,
changed and we didn't have the funds available to pay what we sent them in that original one. So a lot of times that's an estimate, is what we were told when we went through the TIF class a couple
Okay.
weeks ago.
okay,
So it's an estimate, so we could go down.
okay,
So that's what happened.
okay,
We didn't have the tax collections to pay as much as we had.
okay. All right, so we need a motion to approve that certification.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried. Any updates on various board and committee meetings? What you got, Heidi?
Had a meeting with the Iowa Northland Regional Housing Authority, Monday. We went over a salary survey just to see how we are as far as that. We will be considering that in January. Wednesday, I had a Blackhawk Friendly Mental Health Center board meeting. It's kind of the same song all the time, just they really could use more providers. When they're down providers, they're down revenue, and there's a great need for their services. We did have a couple of presenters, one about, someone who works with the homeless and, another with the school-based mental health program. That was interesting to hear that. They're going forward with a fundraiser that they have every May, so they've started planning for that already. And on Thursday, I had the Iowa Northland Regional Housing Council. The repair program that they have there is going well. She seems to be able to get rid of those funds with no difficulty. They are looking to fill the board. There've been some seats that have been open, and so we are, trying to get a good balance of elected officials, those that work in the private sector, and with the counties all represented. Other than that, I think that was all I had.
Okay, thank you. I attended the landfill commission meeting last Thursday. Todd Whipple was there from HLW Engineering out of the Ames area. And he hand delivered that document, the resolution that we covered under resolution 21. We also talked to him about the process of getting an environmental covenant. We have had favorable well tests for some time, and we seem to be complying with all the tenets of the DNR regarding the landfill cap and its condition and so forth. And so we are able to apply for an environmental covenant. He's going to make that request again in January when he sends the DNR the annual water quality report. Ultimately, that would result in not having to engage the services of an engineering firm anymore and plugging the wells so that they are inoperable. We would still have to haul some leachate from the draining systems and take those to Grundy Center Treatment Center for analysis. But as far as the sending well tests into labs, we wouldn't have to do that because the wells would be plugged. The cost, he said the cost of plugging wells is around $10,000 each if you have a professional company engaged to do that. So there would be some upfront cost to doing that, but then there would be a savings on the backside. And we have, I don't know, do you have on that treasurer's report how much we have in dedicated funds for the oh, here I've got it. In the landfill closure fund, we have $468,441.41. So you may recall that when we closed the landfill, we had to have over $1 million in place in order to take care of the landfill into perpetuity. Well, perpetuity at that time was 30 years. And we're getting closer to the 30 years, and we obviously we oversubscribed that. So basically I said, what happens to that money that we have left over, which was levied through all the different taxing bodies that make up that group that uses the landfill. And he said, well, you have latitude to do whatever with it. We have to subsidize the operation of the Citizens Convenience Center. So we might be able to use some of those funds to subsidize that, so we didn't have to levy anything for the Citizens Convenience Center, but we still have to, finish up the landfill and plug the wells and that sort of thing. So he's hoping that he's asking them to come in May, the DNR to come in May, do a final inspection and move us towards this environmental covenant. We're quite a young landfill to be doing that already. He's honchoed about 7 of them, I think, that have gotten into that status. And they've been closed longer than ours. So he's not sure if he'll be successful, but at the least, we're having to do less testing and then cut back on some of those kinds of expenses. So that's what's going on there. guess that's about all I have to say.
Do you
Yeah,
know how many wells we're talking about?
I think 7. Does that sound right, Butch? Yeah,
7?
yeah. So that, would be about 70,000, but then we wouldn't have to be paying HLW engineering and some of the testing costs. So ultimately, it's gonna be quite a savings. We have,
Win-win if that can happen.
yeah, absolutely. And we still have to keep a nice cap on top, so there isn't erosion. We have to get rid of volunteer trees, and there is methane that comes up through the soil from the things that are buried beneath and other trace gases. And so those tend to keep the grass from growing in certain spots on the top of the landfill cap. And so we actually hired a landscape guy to come over this past year to reseed. He researched what kind of seed you could get to grow in that environment, and we'll probably take till spring to see if it was successful. But, it does take constant management, but it's always done well. The DNR had us plant some experimental trees out there that it was sort of a new concept that it would help with the root systems, would help with the soil underneath the landfill. And then later they came along and wanted us to get rid of them, and we found the paperwork that dictated that we were supposed to have them. So we've gone back and forth about some of those things, but it's very stable. And we actually purchased some farmland to the east of the landfill so that we could control the perimeter of the landfill in a good enough margin so that anything that seeped off the landfill would be onto land that we control. So that's something this environmental covenant we've been working towards for probably about a year and a half. So hopefully that comes to pass. Did you have anything, Mark?
No, online meetings are coming up Thursday this week.
Okay, how about you, Lucas?
Yeah, we had a 911 and EMA rescheduled, from a couple Thursdays ago. We had that on Tuesday. They were fairly quick because Chase, wanted to just go over the budget for both meetings. And due to people's schedules, that was about all we could go over, but the budgets for both look good and they were both approved, at their respective meetings, so. About the only other thing is both those meetings were, Zoomed for the first time after the previous meeting a few months ago was, the Zoom for those meetings was approved, so. Everything went well. We had a couple board members on there and, that was about it for those two.
Okay, thank you. Anything else to come before us this morning? All right, would entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.